Hello everyone. Today we are going to study what is the meaning of law of demand and what are the exceptions to law of demand. So, law of demand states that higher the price, the lower the demand, and lower the price, higher the demand, and the assumptions are other things will remain the same. Many economists has given many definitions of law of demand. Like by demand we mean that the quantity of a commodity that will be purchased at a particular price and not merely the desire of a particular thing. One another definition is according to the law of demand, the quantity demanded varies with inversely the price. The demand for anything at a given price is the amount of it which will be bought per unit of time at that particular price. So the formula for law of demand says QT is a function of Px and ceteris paribus. So what is ceteris paribus? So in economic sense, the term is used as a shorthand for indicating the effect of one economic variable on another, holding constant all other variables that may affect the second variable. So what is QT here? The QT is the quantity demanded for the commodity X. F is a function of independent variable and Px is the price of that particular commodity. So there are certain assumptions to the law of demand. The first is income level shall remain constant. Second, taste of buyer shall not change. Third, price of other goods shall remain constant. No new substitute for the commodity. Price rise in the future should not be expected. Advertising expenditure shall remain same. So the chief characteristics of law of demand says there is an inverse relationship between the price and the quantity demanded. The price is an independent variable and demand is a dependent variable. And the law of demand assumes that other things remain same. In other words, it can be said that there shall be no change in other factors influencing demand except the price. So here is a demand curve. On y-axis price has been shown and on x-axis quantity has been shown. If the quantity is Q1, the price is P1. If the price is P2, the quantity demanded is Q2, and if the price is P3, quantity demand will be Q3. So there is an inverse relationship between the price and the quantity demanded. So there is a difference between the demand and quantity demanded. So demand refers to the whole demand schedule that a consumer draws in his mind, showing different amount of a commodity he intends to buy at different possible prices. And the quantity demands refers to the specific quantity out of the demand schedule intended to be purchased by consumer at a specific price. So moving further, why does demand curve slopes downward? So the first reason is the substitution effect. When the price of commodity falls, it becomes relatively cheaper than the other commodities, and the result is that total demand for that commodity whose price has fallen increases. The second is income effect. Income effect says that increase in real income increases demand for goods and services in general and for the goods with reduced price in particular. Increase in demand on account of increase in real income is the income effect. The next is new consumer creating demand. When the price of a commodity falls, so more consumers start buying it because some of those could not afford it to buy previously now can afford to buy it. The next is law of diminishing marginal utility. So marginal utility is the utility derived from the marginal unit consumed of a commodity. Consumer consume more of a commodity only when its price decreases. By marginal utility we means the utility derived from one additional unit consumed. So this law states that as consumer increases the consumption of a product, the utility gained from successive unit goes on decreasing. Due to this reason, consumer will purchase additional unit of a commodity only when he gets it at a lower price. For this reason, the demand at higher price is less and at lower price demand is more. The next reason is different income groups. There are persons in the different income groups in every society, but the majority is in low income group. So the downward sloping demand curve depends upon this group. The next is tendency to satisfy the unsatisfied wants. So each person has some unsatisfied want, and when the price of goods falls, he wants to satisfy the unsatisfied wants, which lead him to increase the demand. Next is the exceptions to law of demand. So law of demand does not apply in every case and every situation. In some cases it becomes ineffective. So what are the exceptions to law of demand? Let us see. The first is Giffen goods. So Giffen goods is defined as an inferior goods whose demand increases when its price increases. So Giffen was a great statistician of British during the 19th century, and he was surprised to find out that as the price of bread increased, the British workers purchased more bread and not less of it. The reason was something against the law of demand. So why this happened? The reason given for this is that when the price of bread went up, so it caused such a large decline in purchasing power of the poor people that they were forced to cut down the consumption of meat and other expensive food. Since bread, even when its price was higher than the before, but it was still the cheapest food article, so people consumed more of it and not less when the price went up. So such goods which exhibit direct price demand relationships are known as Giffen goods. So the reason has been explained. So the reason is when the price of inferior goods increases and income remains the same. So what poor people do, they cut down the consumption of superior substitutes so that they are able to buy the sufficient quantity of inferior goods to meet their basic needs. Next is conspicuous consumptions. So, law of demand does not apply on the commodities of prestige because such commodities are used by rich people for whom the price does not matter. Next is conspicuous necessities. So, demand of a commodity which were necessary for life is not affected by the change in their prices. For example, if the salt is rupees 6 per kg and the price falls to rupees 4 per kg, the quantity of its consumption cannot be increased, or if the price increases to 8 kg, it cannot be decreased. So there are certain things which are of conspicuous necessities. Ignorance effect. So people think that higher price commodity is always better than the lower price commodity. The next is emergencies. So law of demand does not apply in case of emergencies such as war, curfew. So when there are certain emergencies, so household draw attention to scarcities and induced further price rises by making increased purchases even at higher price during such period. The next is future changes in price, and it happens out of the apprehension. So when the prices are rising, households tend to purchase larger quantity of commodities out of apprehension that the price may still go up. So next is change in fashion. Change in fashion and taste affect the market of the commodity. So the law of demand is ineffective there. Then we have necessities of life, and in that case also the law of demand is not applicable. Then we have impulsive purchase. So at time consumer tends to make impulsive purchase without any cool calculation about the prices and usefulness of the product. To such contest, the law of demand fails. The next is outdated goods. So goods that do not that go out of use due to advancement in underlying technology that has become obsolete and are outdated. So with the launch of new technology, the demand for outdated goods fall even though they are available at low price. Now, what is the importance of law of demand? First important is it determination of price. So law of demand is helpful for trader to fix the price of a commodity. He knows how much demand will fall or fall by increase in price to a particular level, and how much it will rise by decrease in price of a commodity. The next is importance to finance minister. If by raising the tax the price increases to such an extent, then a demand is reduced considerably. So the tax will be levied at a higher rate. Next is importance to farmers. So good or bad crop affect the economic conditions of the farmers. So if a good crop fails to increase the demand, the price of crop will fall heavily and the farmer will have no advantage of good crop and vice versa. So that's all for today. Thank you.